So John, let's say I have some SQL clusters or some Oracle clusters. How can I make those run best on a vSAN environment?
So if you're looking to migrate SQL or Oracle clustered, data in, by the way, there is a migration to vSAN guide on core.vmware that does discuss some kind of the considerations for this. But let's look at what you need to deliver this. So if you're clustering these with a traditional clustering, so a shared disk, shared LUN structure, where you've got two VMs or two instances of the application mounting the same set of data, you can do this on vSAN. Traditionally or historically, I guess we would have done this using the iSCSI service. But now the iSCSI service is really just for external, like a physical cluster, something outside the reach of the vSAN cluster. Now we would use the shared bus adapters and use a shared VMDK. It's going to provide better fidelity, less overhead. It's just a better approach. Now for SQL, where you would do this is historically people, the legacy term MSCS, Microsoft SQL Cluster or Microsoft Server Cluster Services. You had FCI is kind of the new term for this. If you're talking to your developers, your application owners, within Oracle land, we have RAC, and RAC is your highly available. You've got multiple instances active talking to that same VMDK. But do note there are some other options. So Oracle does have a shared nothing async replication approach. Oracle Data Guard that can do, constantly send it to a second site or a second copy of VM. SQL has always on availability groups that can be done in synchronous or async options. So there's other ways to kind of cluster the cat now that there weren't always before. Now, the other thing also to think about is when you're migrating this in, particularly if you're coming in from physical clusters, where this was really availability was kind of a problem. If a host died and you had to wait 4 hours on a part, vSphere HA is really good. So if vSphere HA can reboot it in a couple minutes and that works, that may be a much easier way just to manage clustering and availability. And what you'll find is there's a lot of operational overhead and specialty skills and licensing costs sometimes with some of these application clustering technologies. There's a lot of caveats. Your backup software or things like snapshotting VMs may not work. So there's all kinds of extra concerns that come in when you run these shared applications with shared LUN. So the juice may not be worth the squeeze. Talk to your application owner, say, hey, do we have windows to where we can patch this? And do we really, is a couple minutes for a reboot good enough?
Yeah, that's a great point. Really taking a step back, so to speak, and seeing if it's even worth it in the first place. But if it is, sounds like we have a lot of good options there.